Hi, I'm William Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about the decreased biodiversity in the Yangtze River in China and why it's worth trying to reverse this ongoing process. Now, this issue is suffering from a lack of accountability and responsibility in terms of solving it, as each mechanism that has any power is controlled by dozens more in an ongoing bureaucratic scheme that reduces the ability to protest at any one source. For that reason, I'd like to direct this video to the Chinese government itself, as they seem to be the final source who have enough power to root out the problem children and make them fix their acts. First, let's look at the river as a whole. The Yangtze River is the largest river in China and the third longest in the entire world. It also has the largest population living on it of any river, with 450 million people, largely in cities like Shanghai, Nanjing, and Wuhan. It has also been home to a number of wildlife, including fish, waterfowl, aquatic plants, and even marine mammals. In recent years, however, these numbers have seen significant declines, as many species have disappeared from the river and lake systems entirely, with others going completely extinct. One of these species, perhaps the most iconic to live in the Yangtze River, was the baiji, or Chinese river dolphin. Unfortunately, though, the baiji went extinct in 2006. Perhaps the largest hit to the Yangtze River ecosystem to date, but not the last if changes do not come. But what did cause the baiji to go extinct? What changes are necessary to try and preserve this ecosystem? Well, to start, development in Wuhan has resulted in significant increases in the amount of wastewater and byproducts produced, with up to 40% of all Chinese wastewater being dumped into the Yangtze watershed. This pollution can be difficult to fight against because it comes from a number of producers who serve different businesses through a number of steps. But once it can be traced back, some familiar names become clear, namely Apple, the US-based tech company. By putting pressure on Apple, there have been some pushes for Chinese production companies to clean up their act, as Apple has put in a go clean or lose business policy. But going forward, there must be more pressure on Apple and any other corporations who are relying on this type of production to push against it and fight for better quality of waste management. This can be done following examples set by Jared Diamond, author and geographer, who spoke about the necessity for consumers to put pressure on the corporations so that they themselves will track down the environmental weak links in their product chain and do away with them. It may not be enough to simply reduce pollution, however, as there are many more issues that plague the Yangtze. And next up is sand dredging. Sand dredging is the process of removing sand from the bottom of a river or lake, mining it for usage to make concrete as Wuhan and Shanghai continue to grow. Sand mining causes drastic harm to the ecosystem, as it is typically mined at faster rates than it can be resupplied from further upstream, resulting in a decreased water table, lowered surface area of the river or lake where it takes place on, loose sediment, and many other environmental concerns. Sand mining typically occurs lower down the river and is most prevalent in Poyang Lake, the largest freshwater lake in China and the largest sand mine in the world. The lake, located near Shanghai, has seen 236 million cubic meters of sand mined per year and has suffered drastic environmental concerns from this harvesting. The outlet stream between the lake and the river has gone from looking like this in 1995 to this in 2013. Poyang Lake is also the wintering grounds for 90 to 98% of the critically endangered Siberian cranes. The final issue we will talk about today is of the rise of dams along the Yangtze, which have been constructed in order to increase the country's capacity for hydroelectric power. These dams have just continued to increase in numbers as China's population and their energy requirement grows as well. These dams, however, are built with little consideration to the river downstream, as they slow down the movement of water through the river as well as halting larger sediment from moving, adding to the issues originally created through sand mining. Where the real issues come into play, however, is with China's and the world's largest dam, known as Three Gorges Dam. It is 7,661 feet long, 594 feet tall, and holds 39.3 cubic kilometers of water in the reservoir upstream of it. It includes multiple locks to transport boats, such as Yangtze cruise ships, across the dam. But when questioned, dam officials have stated that there were not and are not any plans to install mechanisms to transport fish from one side of the dam to the other. Many species' migration patterns were as such interfered with some species, such as the Chinese sturgeon and Chinese paddlefish, having their breeding grounds upstream entirely separated from them. The sturgeon is now bred in several captive populations to keep their numbers stable and hopefully be able to reintroduce them back into the river. The paddlefish, on the other hand, is not as lucky and has not been seen since 2003, the first year Three Gorges Reservoir was filled with water. It is likely extinct. There are some places for hope, however, as unlikely as it may seem. Dongting Lake, the second largest lake in China, was once dredged for sand by over 100 large vessels, turning the lake into a dirty brown soup that would seem lifeless from above. The lake, also called the Kidney of the Yangtze, is located upstream from Wuhan and is monitored by the city of Yuewang. In August of 2017, Yuewang banned sand dredging as a whole from Dongting Lake and started the process of tearing down the wharfs where the dredges would dock and load cargo. Today, Dongting, which is a very important wetland ecosystem, has seen significant increases in biodiversity, with many species of birds seen there for the first time the following summer, and has shown an ability to bounce back from the hardships that it once endured. Dongting has also shown hope for the Yangtze's other marine mammal, the Yangtze finless porpoise. The finless porpoise is the only species of freshwater porpoise in the world, and the only remaining species of marine mammal in the Yangtze. They are also making a comeback in Dongting, one of their remaining strongholds, and go to show that with the proper regulation and control in the rest of the Yangtze, other species may be able to make a comeback, and the river could return to a place of former glory.